Hello everyone, this is Ala Pivot reporting from TDF today, and we have the immense pleasure of having what I consider to be one of the brightest people within the futsal community in the UK, Junior Roberti, who is the head coach of York City Futsal Club and the new champion of the National League North Division 2. Junior, it's an immense pleasure to have you on our podcast today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here to participate, and want to say well done for all the work that you're doing to promote this sport. We really need people like yourselves doing this kind of service for us. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Just very nice and easy to start off with. How did you get into futsal, Junior?
Well, I'm Brazilian. As you probably know, Brazilians don't play football in the early ages. They play futsal. So my first contact with the game was at school. I was probably around 5, 6, playing my little tournament in school. Probably one class against another class, or 1 year against another year. So that's how everything started for me. Since that point, I've been playing quite decent level in Brazil. I've been to Italy as well. When 2008, I decided to stop playing and start coaching. So, talk about probably around 35 something years now in futsal so far.
Good. And have you always? Are you more of a futsal fan than a football fan, or just tell us a little bit about?
I follow. Being honest, I follow both. Probably more futsal in terms of leagues and results. Of course, I know what's going on in the football world as well. But if I have a futsal game to watch and a football game to watch, regardless who's playing, I will be watching futsal for sure.
Yeah, me
Especially
too.
good leagues like Spanish league or Brazilian league. I'll be looking to watch those instead of football.
Yeah, 100%. Me too. I agree. I'm just cutting straight to the chase, Junior. And I want to discuss a few topics which I know that are very close to your heart. The first one being, are you for or against English futsal clubs having more or less English futsal players in the matchday squad, and why?
That's a good question. I am one of those that believe that it's a very important step in the English futsal now. We discussed about this. I think we need to increase the minimum now for tomorrow. Of course, this season is impossible, but for next season. For space, because we need to be careful. We don't have a rule that says we should have 4 English players in a squad of 12. We say we should have 4 spaces for English players, which is not the same thing. So you can play with 8 non-English players. In my opinion, you can win a league in that situation. So it's not needed to have 4 English players on a squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to change that now. I think we need to start with 6. I think we need to promote the development of English players in this country. And the reason why I'm saying that, I don't have any problem or nothing against any foreign players. I am one of them, so it would be stupid if I have any situation like that. But I think it's very hard to convince a 15 or 16 years old player, 17 maybe, to play, to give a chance to futsal when they look at the top teams and they don't see an English player there. Or if they see, it will be 1 or 2, and when they go to games, they don't even play that much. Mm-hmm. The reason behind that, I'd say, today, why would I invest time and resources on developing players if I don't need them? And I think adding this rule or changing this rule, adapting this rule to 6 minimum players in the squad of 12 is not 6 space. I'd say 6 English players. We will have to develop players, because now, if I have to have 6 players in my squad, what was the first job as a club, as someone working futsal, is go straight to my academy and start work on my 14, 15, 16. Because I need those players to come in. I don't say that should last long, though. I just think that the period of transition, and I believe if we plan well in the 3-5 years plan, we should have that back to being flexible. But in my opinion, we cannot have is a Premier League football in futsal where the top team is going to be only foreign players. And when England play, we keep criticizing them, saying, "Oh, England is not winning. England is losing games against Wales or losing games against Albania," because we're not doing nothing to promote the English players in this country. So, answering your question, yes, I think we need to change that now. We need to increase the number of English players per squad. And the other point of that as well is having so many good foreigners playing futsal in this country and having that restriction, I do believe they will find other teams to play as well. So what can happen is one team, instead of have 10 or 12 good Spanish players or Brazilians or wherever they are from, that team with 5, 6 or 7 means the other 5 or 6 or 7, they will probably look for another team to play. So what's going to happen is the level going to increase for all the teams as well.
Right.
And one thing that I don't like, and I've been fighting, is this segregation of English players can't play futsal. I hate that, to be honest. I think if we don't have a good set of English players playing now, being 15 years in this country, futsal, let's say 10 years, last 10 years we've been playing national leagues and stuff, it's our fault. So if York don't produce a futsal player in the next 2, 3, 4 years, it's my fault. I'm not working well. I think the protecting the level, right, saying, "Oh, let's don't do that because we need to keep the level high," is just hiding our failure on us, coaches or people that work in futsal, in developed players.
Okay. That's a very interesting view, actually. So some people's arguments was actually that if you increase the number of English players per squad, you're actually going to decrease the quality of the competition. But you actually make a very good point. And actually, most of the good foreign players will probably migrate from team to team, and thus improving the quality of each team. But that's got me thinking, actually, Junior. Obviously, that's one way that you could possibly create an attractive pathway for prospective English futsal players. But, I mean, what other ways can we attract children to play futsal rather than football in this country? And how do you think we can do this? And obviously starting by perhaps a rule change, including more English players in the matchday squad. Is there anything else you think we can do? Because obviously attracting people to play futsal over football is going to be key for us to produce good futsal players in the future, and a big number of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think starting from that point where you can see where you can go. But just going back very quickly for that, because what you say, I'm working in futsal since 2009 here in this country. It's pretty much the same discussion that we're being over and over about the quality of the players if we increase the number of English players. So what are we doing? Right? So if your team if your club are not able to put the English players to play, what are you doing for the English futsal? That's the question we need to ask each other. All right, bringing foreign players and keeping the level high. Well, great. They come here, they play 1 year, they play 2 years, they go home, and what happens? What's next? And then we play or we lose to Albania, and we're going to be always in the qualify for the World Cup. So I think the main point is, what are we doing for the English futsal in these days? But having more English players will definitely attract more kids and parents as well, because parents understand what's going on. So they take their kids to watch games at the academies, and they see out of 12, 10 or 9 or 8 players are foreigners, even speaking in a foreign language and everything. They say, "Oh, hang on a sec, I'm not sure if this is a real pathway." But I think the main challenge that we have as a futsal provider, if you like, compared with football, is offering a regular calendar to kids. I've been heard about a discussion about the league and make a shorter league as well. But for me, it's a massive mistake. I think it's time for us to stand up for futsal and fight.
I agree. No, I agree.
Football.
I agree.
Sorry?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's time time for us, because we've been, again, I can be a bit repetitive. What do you think for the last 10 years? We cannot clash with football, we cannot do this, we need to adapt, we need to be... Why? Why are we so scared to clash? Why? Yeah, we're gonna lose for people. We're always gonna have opportunity to get kids on board, or we're gonna discuss there's not enough kids in this country to play futsal.
No,
I think
of course there is. Yeah.
We need to have a calendar where we offer games every week. That's the only way that we can compete with football. Because is it even unfair to ask a kid that play every Sunday they play football? And say, hey, come to futsal. Probably going to have a game probably in 1 month. And maybe going to have a game in 2 months. Right? And the other thing that I've been, even from parents that I work with, they say, don't put futsal on Sunday because Sunday is football. I say, no, futsal is Sunday. And your son got an option. Or they go to futsal, they go to football. And I don't need 100 of kids to play. I need few of kids to play to start with, and then kids are going to naturally choose to play. So what we are doing here in New York, we're not deliberately clashing things. When they play football, they play 10:30 Sunday morning. Let's put the same time. But we don't change our lives because of football.
I see.
Instead, we offer more, and then kids naturally can play both as much as they can. Or they choose futsal. I have few kids here that play futsal and don't play football. Sounds crazy, but I have. And I think if we don't have a good calendar, going back to your question, if you don't have a fixed calendar, we have a minimum of games per month. Let's say ideally minimum 2, minimum 2, ideally 3, and a dream 4 per month. So every Sunday we play. A clear pathway where you can see you have a chance to play for your local team. That's the English rule. And then finally, a good chance to play for your team, for your country, England in that case. And England's doing well. So it's a perfect combination. So you have a nation doing well, you have a chance to play for your local team, and you have a chance to play regularly.
It's interesting you say that, Junior, and we actually had Carlos Godinha from Genesis Futsal Club. Very, very good podcast, very intelligent guy actually. But I actually asked him, what factors would be most important for clubs to be in the Super League next year. He did say performance and venue, and although we didn't discuss youth team, the youth team in detail, he did sort of indicate that performance and venue has to be over youth team. But for the long term, and if we want to have a strong pathway to attract children to play futsal over football, do you think for clubs to be in the Super League as of next season, perhaps one of the main components to be in the Super League is to have an established youth team with English players, or that we have to gear to the 2018 and 2019 seasons? To be in the Super League, you must have youth teams with X amount of English players in order to be in the Super League. Do you think that's perhaps another incentive for futsal clubs to develop talent and therefore actually create a pathway for English youngsters to begin playing futsal rather than football?
Yeah, well, I think if you increase for a certain period of time, again, I need to highlight that 3-5 years maybe. If you increase the minimum number of English players in the squad, and again, not a space for English players, but actually an English player in the squad, naturally clubs like James, like Carlos, is doing a fantastic work in the country. I'm sure he will be looking for the next generation, for the next players. So naturally, clubs will be looking now because you have the limitation. You have to every game take 6 English in the squad. So realistically, you need 10 English players in the squad minimum to take 6 to the games. So who going to be those 10?
Exactly.
Right? You might have right now 10, but what if 1 or 2 leave? So you start naturally clubs will start to produce these kids, or going to get in partnership with academies. Now we have an academy every city, every town. We have a few people selling futsal academy, so you might get in partnership with them. I don't think has to be a condition to be in a Super League, to be honest. I think naturally will be a priority for all the clubs when they have to. Because, as I said before, today, why would I invest in an English player, in the player development? It's much harder. And you need to be good.
But there's also...
I can't say... You need to be a good coach to coach kids to be good.
True, but there's also...
And call a Spanish player to come here.
No, that's true. But there's also the argument, Junior, that if you invest in a youth team's also a good way of providing income for a club as well. So it's not just the youth development side of things. It's let's say you charge for 12 sessions, you're charging a flat fee of £100, and that money gets invested into a club. Your club is not only all of a sudden more financially sustainable. All of a sudden you have strategic partnerships with schools, and all of a sudden you've got lots of English players that could compose your squad in the near future. So it's not just, that you don't just have a youth team for the sake of producing players to be in your first team squad, but it's also to be financially sustainable.
And a fun base as well. So yesterday, our game against Tremor, we had, according to the people that counts, there are 208 people in the venue watching our game, and I can say pretty much parents with kids. So the kids that play for our academy bring their parents here on the weekends for the games, and that's how we have an average of 100 and something people watching every York game here. So as you say, is money, is income, is a player development, is a fun base. So you can create, like, these people are going to buy futsal. They are the futsal consumers, if you like. So they will be buying shoes, they'll be buying socks, they'll be buying kits, they will be buying media products as well. They'll be watching things on YouTube and everything. So these people are the people that we should be looking after. But hey, that is a hard work. It's not easy. So the easy route for me is get players that are ready to play. It's not everyone. So for me, if you ask about is this a condition to be in the Super League, maybe not. There will be naturally, naturally clubs will start working, looking after this in order to be sustainable, in order to be competitive. Because at the end of the day, you have to play English players on there. So who are they? Where are they? You need to develop.
Makes sense. And it's very interesting you raised the point. These parents of these children that are already participating in futsal, they will be consumers of futsal. Talking about consuming futsal, Junior, in your opinion, should futsal be sold as a development tool for football? Or do you think it's quite dangerous to sell futsal as a development tool for football? I mean, I have strong opinions about this, but I want to hear what yours are.
Yeah, that's a very challenge. It's very, very dangerous. I've seen few things here that scares me.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking. If you said it's dangerous, I also agree it's incredibly dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. First of all, we need to understand we sell futsal as a football tool. FIFA wants that. If you go to FIFA website, that's how they want to be sold. If you go to courses and everything, even FA courses, they will be saying that. Then what happens? Every flyer that you produce, you see a player like Neymar, Messi, Ronaldinho, and stuff like that. What we need to understand is which kind of scenario or circumstance Neymar's and Ronaldinho's or Becos or Messi's they've been created, right? When Neymar play in Brazil, they play futsal 3 times a week, play futsal every weekend, and does not touch the grass at all, right? That was how futsal developed Neymar. That's how futsal developed Ronaldinho. Then what happened is people believe the fact that they put kids to play 1 hour in a sports hall, indoor, with a futsal ball, with a football coach will increase the chance to make that player a professional footballer. I do believe it will help naturally. But what happens in 10 years if we don't have any Premier League or whatever championship player coming from futsal. Futsal is done. It's finished because we're selling that as a development to football.
It's going to absolutely It's going to absolutely discredit the argument for futsal completely, and instead of actually helping to develop the sport of futsal, it might actually take an opposite course, and the FA may lose confidence in the sport completely. I mean, it's taken them ages, to be honest. Let's be honest. It's taken them ages to understand what the benefits of futsal are. And all of a sudden, in 10 years, all of this hard work from the futsal stakeholders can go nowhere because we've been misselling the sport essentially.
Absolutely, wrong direction. What I've been saying, futsal for football doesn't work. It's a myth. Futsal for football works. I don't know if you get the difference here. We in Brazil or Argentina or the country, Spain as well, we've been producing footballers because we've been doing futsal for futsal. Well, even in certain countries, you're not even allowed to play futsal and football at the same time. You have one federation or another federation, so you're not even allowed to cross over. So if you do futsal for futsal, what do I mean? You train futsal and play futsal, right? Not train futsal and play football on the weekends, right? That doesn't make sense. Futsal for futsal helps football, naturally. What I don't like is that approach where, like, bring your kids here in my session, give me 1 hour of your time, 15, 20 kids, give them a heavy ball. And Messi's coming, Neymar is coming. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Even because we have to say the majority of the coaches here got no support to coach.
Oh, absolutely. There are no coaching resources whatsoever out there. None whatsoever.
Absolutely. So my concern with that is the same that when I arrived in this country, I was in Leeds, and then I've been introduced to, I'm not going to go into much details, but I've been introduced to a product selling a Brazilian way to coach football, right? And I said, oh, great, I'm Brazilian. I'm going to watch this session, and I'm going to, love it. And when I've been to this session was not necessarily like we coach kids in Brazil anyway. And that was back 2008, 2009. I said, how long this is working with? Oh, for the last few years, and so where the players who give me a few names that are playing, because that was, as you say, people are selling these as a way to produce players, and where they are, we have one in the League 2, then they have a guy at Conference North. I said, right, okay, I don't think people are going to buy that for a long time. And now we see less and less that specific product, if you like. And my concern is the same with futsal. If we use futsal for football, what's going to be the measurement to define if that's good or bad?
Yeah.
Is it final product? Is there any product? Give me names. Who's the next English players that have been through futsal, playing the Premier League or playing for England or playing Championship? If they don't happen in 5 years, 10 years, what's going to happen with us?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to,
So in brief, futsal, yes, it's a development tool for football, but that needs to come naturally. If you get into the court and you're doing futsal, thinking about your football game on Sunday, you are in the wrong direction.
I understand,
right? Even I would say don't do that, because I'm a football coach qualified as well. You're wasting your time. Get into the grass with a futsal ball. What do you want? Do you want more control? Do you want more passes? Do you want more touch? Get a futsal ball and go in the grass. At least you're going to have the same grip. At least you're going to have the same space. At least you're going to have the same environment. Sounds crazy, I'm saying, but that's what I'm thinking.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And just changing a little bit the topic, Junior. Obviously, you were champion on Sunday with York. Congratulations. And you're arguably the most active promoter of futsal in that region of the country. And anyway, so please tell us about the York City Futsal Project and why we in England should be excited for what the future holds for the sport in that region of the UK.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much. Yeah, we've been champion yesterday. 11 games, we won 10 and drew yesterday against a very good China team. It was a great season for us so far. York City came on board a long time ago, actually. We merged with them this season, but the discussions, the conversations, the kids' activity, the camps, and everything was longer than that. We always been playing as the University of York, but we felt that was the community participation was important for us, and as university we had that barrier of, is this only for students, is this only for the uni community, and then at certain point we said we want more than what we did so far. We have to remember we've been champions last year as well, so I'm actually two times champion last year as a University of York, but we wanted to go further, and that's why we finally discussing with York City. So it's time for us to merge because we want the community involved. Now, York City was on board already. York City was already participating in futsal in the background. So yeah, they love the idea and they're backing us up. They're very keen to that. Today, I can say we are visible thanks to York City. So it was one of the great moves that we had here. So we're getting more and more funds from the football to futsal. We are present in the local newspaper weekly with results, with match reports and everything. Social media activity, when we merge to York City increase like, massively. Today we have thousands and thousands of views, interactions with the local people here. So York City definitely helped us for this visibility. So the impressions are huge at the moment. And the most important thing, in my personal opinion, is the fact that we are attracting more and more kids to the game. And yes, they might be, we're going back to the early, they might be approaching us thinking about football, what's not necessarily a problem, in my opinion, as long when they get into me, I will be coaching futsal, I'll be showing futsal, I'll be doing futsal with them, and they're naturally going to be converted, if you like, because futsal can be kind of like a religion sometimes, discussions, it can be great, someone telling you about their religion, but sometimes can be really boring when someone tries to force you to believe in something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, sometimes they say, we need to tweet to that guy, send everyone like thousands of, yes, yeah, that would be great if you do that, but I don't know. I find sometimes like a bit, that's not the way, forcing people to love the game that we love, but having opportunity to show how it is and you show our passion and that, and then people naturally follow you up anyway. But York City is giving that opportunity, as I say. So we always had academy, we always had kids here, but when we became officially York City, I can say basically double the number of kids involved. So I think that was a great result in terms of visibility. We have big plans. We want to be in a Super League. I think feedback from the FA, from our club, our institution was fantastic. We are prepared. I think Super League is another interesting discussion. I don't want to lose your question, but we're never supposed to be out of Super League in the first place. We've been relegated 2 years ago when they first came with the accreditation. People might not know, but University of York was in the Super League already. And when they decided to do the accreditation process, we've been relegated to Division 2 North. Even if we had then Carlisle leaving, they didn't accept us back. Even when Middlesbrough left last year, they didn't want us back in that position. But now will be our time. So we're going to Super League next year. We are sure about that. I'm sure about this. There's no reason. We tick all the boxes that you can imagine. You're not going to find more than a few clubs with better structure than us. I don't want that to sound a bit like arrogant. It's because I know people that play for different teams and clubs in the whole country. And I know what's going on in the country now. Even discussions with clubs saying they're not ready to go to Super League, and our case is different. We are ready to go. We want to go to Super League.
Yep.
So that's the plan for York in the future. So we want to be big. We want to build a strong community-based relationship We have sponsors, we have few sponsors, we have a lot of kids on board and their parents coming. So we're going to work hard to grow the futsal in this region here, and hopefully we're going to see English players coming through the next couple of years.
Fantastic, great, and we're excited because if one team is helping to promote futsal in a specific region in England, that means that futsal will develop in that region, and the rest of England will have to follow up with your standards and keep up the same way that Baku when they were in the Super League South. Teams had to keep up with their standards, so their level on the court had to increase, and hopefully because of York City in the north, operationally clubs nearby they also improve, i.e. administration of the club, etc.
I believe people will follow, but we're not going to be going to the Super League. The plan or main target is not going to be necessarily build the strongest squad in the country to win the league. Of course, every time I go to the court, even if I play with my son, I want to win. I want to beat him. If I play 1v1 with my son, I want to win. So if we go next season to the Super League, we're going to play every game to win. But our focus is going to be a long-term plan to give a good structure for the club to be sustainable. And my personal aim and target as a coach and someone that works for the futsal in England is to develop players. I want to develop, to make more players. I want York to be known as a factory of players. So player coming from York, as we have your last chat with Duff as well, he mentioned York as well. So we're already doing that. We already have a few players going out from York or from Leeds area. So Johnny Sim, James Dalton, two goalkeepers, came from our setup as well. So that's what we want to look in the future, to have more and more players coming from our area, and in that way actually help to develop the futsal in this country. So make it strong for the kids. That's all we want.
And Junior, see if you can help out other futsal stakeholders around the country as well. There's obvious benefits of a futsal club linking with a football club, as you said. There's a lot more exposure, much more following, higher levels of following, much more, higher levels of community engagement due to the brand name of the club. But what attracts football clubs to futsal? And if you can let us know, maybe some people in the south or in the Midlands that are looking to link up with a football club, maybe they have a few more accessories to actually get in touch with these clubs to actually in view of getting a partnership. I mean, what attracts football clubs to futsal anyway?
Well, I think that's a very personal question. We would need to start a study to see which trauma was the case was, or the Bristol and the South as well. I think the participation, community engagement, and also the opportunity to play in a sport where we pretty much going to start playing maybe the second highest level in the country. I think that attracts a lot, and also the fact that is a sport that it's growing fast in the whole world. It's more people talking, more people playing. And also, I have to say, clubs believe as well the fact that they're going to have better footballers. I think it's a combination of everything in there. But I would say, if I have to pick one, I'd say the community, the participation, with something that we can have is a kids squad. We can pretty much shadow or mirror all the football structure, and we can create a new structure. So we can pretty much double the number of members, the number of players, the number of parents, the number of supports, the number of products that you sell in the shop. If you think about a football club where they have a limit in the academy or everything, so they cannot have everyone there, right? So depending on the club, I don't know, Premier League club structure, how they look at that, or reality, the clubs that work here, Leeds United and York City now, they can't. At certain point, they need to send kids home because they don't have space. So having futsal there is pretty much like, hey, let's double the number of kids that we're going to have too. And I think all the clubs are looking to develop players. So at the end of the day, they want to to develop players, to sell those players, or to have those players playing into their teams. So having more kids around, I think, is a good chance. Is a good reason for them to invest in futsal. And also, futsal is not an expensive product, if you like, for you to invest. Because as you say, if you're charging, £5, £4, £6 per session for kids, you cover coach, you cover venue, and what else?
Well, most venues have goals already, so you cover that already. So it's basically venues, balls, and coach, I suppose.
Yeah, so you cover everything. So it's pretty much like a win-win. So you start to want like a strong club, a club with a strong relationship with the community. They say, hey, we have a futsal academy. They're going to fill the places straight away. They're going to have, we're going to be self-sustainable and going to be profitable as well. So I think that's hard to find problems on that. Then we move to the other problem is how this futsal is offering. So what we're doing actually is futsal. It's just like indoor football. But you talk about the technical discussion behind that was very dangerous, very complicated. But your question was more like what would attract football clubs to offer futsal. And then you have the Premier League, the Trust, the Football League Trust, where they are having futsal already under the clubs. So almost of every club in the country play futsal regularly. They play competitions. They are already doing futsal. So it's just one more way to attract kids into them. The key for us is make sure the people that are coaching these kids futsal in those football clubs are futsal coaches and not just football. Don't get me wrong again, people might get upset with me. You can be futsal and football coach. I see no problem with that. But when you're doing futsal, you need to be a futsal coach. If you're a football coach doing futsal, that's something wrong. So what we need to make sure is the people doing this futsal are futsal coaches. Even if it's the same guy that coaches the football, no problem at all. If you can switch on, switch off, that's not a problem at all. Because there are so many things that we can transfer from one to other. But you need to clearly see the difference between both sports. They are so similar, but they are so different.
Yeah, exactly. And final question, Junior, I completely agree. Final question. As you are from Brazil, and although there are many issues regarding the governance of futsal in Brazil, what can England learn from the delivery of futsal in Brazil?
It's not the best time now to discuss about the Brazilian the futsal organization. No, we just had the last few weeks the Football Federation getting futsal back.
Yeah.
That's another confusion that sometimes we don't read the news, but the futsal always being a responsibility of the Football Federation, never being completely given to someone else. What they did was like, right, you can have now, but any problem is part of the documents that we have. So any problem that we have, we're going to take that back till you sort out your problems, and that's pretty much what happened. I think futsal in Brazil, of course, cannot compare. We have like a strong history in futsal over there. It's a professional sport. It's on live TV. What can I say in England? A few points that I think is important for us to understand about the development of futsal. I think the key area to develop a sport will be at schools, and then local councils. For me, I think if we wanted to develop futsal in this country from the government, from a body, from an organization, would be through schools.
Has to be, yeah.
Because in Brazil, every school will have a futsal court. Every school going to be playing futsal tournaments and futsal games. So school against school, areas against areas, and then cities against cities, and then you have even nationals for schools. That would be the area that I would, if I was taking something from the investment that they do at schools, because that's where we can get participation. And then from the participation, we get performance as well, because few kids at school will say, hey, I like it. Where can I find more than this? All right, if you want more than that, you go to York City see the academy. And then when they get there, if they're good enough, they go to the academy, to the performance side of the academy. If not, they go to the participation side of the academy. So we're getting more and more kids playing this game. I think that would be one of the main areas. The second thing that is interesting to say as well, and I know I'm talking a lot.
Yes, the floor is yours, Junior. The floor is yours. Talk as much as you want, mate.
Thank you. I'm gonna be talking all night here. Sometimes when you talk about now it's a discussion about the Super League next season, right? So it's people saying we're not prepared, we're not ready. There is discussion about TV, for example. One point that always been interesting to discuss when you say about we're not prepared, we're not good for TV, we don't have a good product for TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then going back to Brazil 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago, remember that there was not every game on TV. There was very few games, once a month.
We just exactly.
Yeah, fine. So don't you think today an Helvetia against Birmingham, for example, all respect of the clubs, don't get upset with me. I know you mentioned York City. Wouldn't be interesting to be on TV?
Of course, absolutely. So we even yeah. Go on. Sorry.
No, absolutely. So what people think sometimes is like when you talk about TV, people go to the extremes, and the extremes will be every week, 10 games on TV or 5 games on TV, every single venue in England. No. There's something in between that. We can have one game per week in a venue where it's going to be suitable for TV. Why even one game a month?
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly, because we've just produced an article talking about what we can learn from American football in Brazil, actually, strangely, another sport. And what they do over there is they play their semi-finals and their final. It's a tournament called Torneio Touchdown, which means touchdown tournament. As you know, you speak Portuguese, obviously. Yeah, and the semi-finals and the finals are on live TV, as are the qualifying matches for the World Cup, the American Football World Cup. For those that don't know, there is an American Football World Cup of nations, and the US players, they can't play in the NFL, they have to play in like Canada Football League, etc. And those are the only games that are shown live on TV. But because there is a possibility of American football clubs in Brazil being on live TV, it increases the possibility of them getting sponsorship, because there is the chance that a sponsor paying a very low entry fee to become the full sponsor of the club, they may be on TV on prime time. So yes, you can just have 3 or 4 games a season even on TV. It doesn't even have to be per month. It could be every 2 months, every 3 months or so. You can have the final of the FA Cup or the final of the National League and the England qualifier games. And yeah, it also increases the chances of National League and Super League clubs actually getting sponsorship, because there is the possibility of their product being on TV at prime time. So
I absolutely agree. And one thing as well that I have to say, I'm tired of we underestimate futsal and English players and our products in this country, right? It's 15 years that we play, I think the first time we played under Graham Dell for England 2002-2003. 15 years, and we still people talking, we are very young, it's a very young sports in this country of the day. So we are slowing down all the process because we are accepting we're not good. So how long are we going to see countries like Germany now coming and overtaking us? And I'm not talking about the result on the courts, because that's the less important part, right? Now, in terms of development, I'm talking about the whole thing that they're doing in terms of promotion, in terms of marketing. So with 15 years futsal in these countries, 10 years of National League, are we young? Even other nations that in the top 10 in the world, they are not much older than us.
Yeah.
In terms of
Kazakhstan,
time.
Vietnam, etc.
So how long are we going to be using the same excuses to justify our failure? Oh no, it's a new sport. It's new for how long? I'm here 10 years. 10 years I have the same thing as it's new. So when do we change that? When do we change that? When are we going to change that? We're going to say if we don't have a good product, it's because we are not good. If I haven't developed good futsal players, I am not good. As you say, I'm sure few games today would be attractive. Hey, I watch basketball, English basketball on TV, 2 a.m. Right? Yeah, sometimes I have problems to sleep. In Leeds, Come on, right? It's the same structure than ours. 200, 300 people in the court.
Mm-hmm.
I like basketball, so I watch the NBA. So the level compared with NBA is much lower.
Obviously, yeah.
I think it's similar if you get the Spanish Futsal League and the English League. I think the comparison is going to be proportional, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe maybe not, but not too far away. I mean, in terms of proportion of quality.
Mm-hmm. I get what you mean.
And
Yeah.
hey, it's on TV. Netball is on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's time for us to stop with this, to underestimate ourselves. If there are clubs not prepared for Super League next year, don't play Super League next year, but let the people that are ready to play.
Exactly.
We need to have this turbulence. We're not going to have an easy year, maybe not easy couple of years, but we need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move on. It's time. If you have 8 clubs that want to play Super League, go 8 clubs. If you have 10, if you have 12, in my personal opinion, that's the right number to go. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be all right, we're going to laugh. No, it's going to be very hard. But if you don't take that step now, when are we going to do that? We're going to have another 10 years to say, now futsal in England is just a start now. Then Wales probably going to be, all respect your Wales, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Wales going to be playing World Cup and we'll be not.
And we're still going to be making the excuse, yeah.
World Cup. Yeah. So it's time for us, I think, and with people like yourselves helping to develop, helping to put us in contact, it's time for us to all hold hands and say, right, let's do it. Let's do it together. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of challenges going to happen. Going to exist for us, but let's do it.
Yeah, it's going to be worth it in the end.
I'm sure it will.
Great. So thank you very much, Junior, for joining us in your podcast. For everyone that's listening, please tune in to TDF on Facebook. Give us a like. On Twitter, it's at The Daily Futsal, and that's capital T, capital D, capital F. And we're on Instagram, just The Daily Futsal. Also, make sure you follow York City Futsal Club on Facebook. They are champions. And if you live in York, make sure you go down to one of their matches. They'll be playing the FA Cup soon as well. So go to their live matches, see what futsal's all about. Junior, thank you very much once again, and congratulations for being champion.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much, and again, well done. You're doing a fantastic job. We need more people like yourselves.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Junior.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.